The Keystone XL spill this week, Ryan, this is way more of a subject up your alley than mine. Tell me why I should be concerned about the oil spill this week.
Well, for one, and maybe do we have the first element on this block, like we're seeing, you might not care about the like environmental catastrophe that is being spooled across an expanding region here. Oil prices are going to go up too.
Yeah.
Potentially as a result of this, or it's putting pressure on oil prices. I think that might be the next element. So
that's a really good point, because this is a particularly leaky pipeline.
And so the Keystone, this is the original Keystone Pipeline. They've been trying to build a second Keystone Pipeline so they can expand the amount of tar sands oil that they're able to pump through. And I think what a lot of people might not appreciate is actually, this is something I learned in covering the Keystone XL one, how energy intensive it is to pump tar sands oil through that. You would think, like you see a picture of the pipeline, it's running north to south just like a river does. It doesn't take energy to move a river.
Right.
Oil's liquid. You're like, oh, well, the energy intensivity is in extracting it and then later at the end point refining it. No. It is extraordinarily energy intensive to pump this oil through the pipeline because it's this disgusting glop. It's not.
It's dense.
It's so dense. So you have to constantly be pushing it, and because you're using power to push it, that's going to create vulnerabilities all across the pipeline if something goes wrong and it bursts.
This is a 14,000 barrel spill.
Yeah, and because you're pushing it, then now you're pushing it out.
Yeah.
And so. To me, it makes just one more case that we're about to hit a record when it comes to domestic oil production. I think Trump's it surged under Obama, it peaked under Trump, came back down recently, but now it's back up, and it might eclipse Trump's record pretty soon, which will be awkward all around because Democrats. Well, a lot of Democrats won't want to celebrate that. A lot of Republicans won't want to acknowledge it. It'd be weird to see how it plays out if Biden brags about it at the State of the Union or something. Who cheers for that?
I mean,
it shows long term, is this really the system that we want? And secondly, Keystone XL is supposed to go over an aquifer that produces fresh water potentially to your parents.
Yeah, this is about 200 miles, rural Kansas. Again, the environmental implications of that, the consequences of that are obvious. So 14,000 barrels, so that's about 600,000 gallons. This all was transpiring on Wednesday, and if you're watching, you can see that on the screen. Northeastern Kansas this month. Look at that. And so again, that's when you compare that with the 89 Exxon spill, that would be 260,000 barrels. Deepwater Horizon was 5 million. So this is 14,000, minor, but Keystone, you would know this better than I do. And I was being facetious when I introduced the segment and said, tell me why I should care about it. I will say that this pipeline is a very big part of the American economy. It's not like just one little pipeline out there. It actually plays a huge role in the American. There's a lot of jobs involved. There's a lot of money involved. There's just a lot going on when it comes to Keystone XL. But the pipeline has had a decent amount of problems over the course of its lifespan. Yeah,
and I know you were being facetious, but a lot of people are earnest in this. So to them it's part of doing business. It's like, hey, this is just how we got to deal with it. But
I think it is that. But it's so I don't disagree that it is part of doing it. This is not the system.
Which is a good reason to do different kinds of business.
Exactly right. So this is not the system I think anybody wants long term. The oil and gas industry is going to make as much money as humanly possible as they can from it. They have started investing a little bit in green technologies because even they know that's where the future is. But we have to, until we get to that point where we can use renewables and we can use, there was the big fission announcement this week. Until we get to a point, we are stuck with this. And so it can't just be that we put up a leaky pipeline and are like, it's the cost of doing business. If you're going to have the technology, do it in a way that's respectful and do it in a way that's healthy and is not going to cost, after getting, I don't know how many subsidies Keystone XL has gotten, but to your point, it's going to raise prices because it's 14,000 barrels.
Right. And then and then throwing up all sorts of dust in front of people who are like, look, this is dangerous stuff. Maybe we shouldn't go over the Mississippi here. Maybe it shouldn't go over this aquifer. Like there are, I think, real objections from conservationists, from environmental groups that kind of get dismissed as just strictly hostile to all fossil fuel development. But when the likelihood of a spill is as high as it is over time, to put a pipeline like this through an aquifer, like they're trying to do with Keystone XL, to me is just kind of antisocial, like socially suicidal. When you know that there's a very good chance that you're going to spoil that.
And we need to, by the way, this is another thing when you're talking about the potential benefits of something like Keystone XL. Right now, it's a moment where we've shown what we need is some measure of independence, and you can say that's on a spectrum, right? But it should be at a point where you can turn the spigot on in the United States of America at any given moment, and the country is not being absolutely killed by OPEC or absolutely killed by what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. And I think a lot of people on the right, myself included, think there's more room to be producing oil and gas energy in the United States right now. But if this is who's doing it,
yeah,
you have problems because again, then you're funneling subsidies into companies that are not being the best stewards of them possible, and that is not overall going to end well.
Yeah, and it does point to one upside of renewables, which is that if you have some type of catastrophe with solar panels or a windmill, or even a geothermal or a large geothermal plant, it's narrow, it's small. Like you might get a fire on somebody's roof and somebody could die, tragic. But the BP level oil spill, Exxon level oil spill, Keystone level oil spill just isn't possible given the scale of things. And yeah, like you said, like they also need technology that's able to, and they have the technology that's able to shut these off, very shortly after a spill. But guess what? It costs money to do that. And it reminds me of, was it outside of San Diego a little while ago, where like a boat crashed into a pipeline, boom, because they didn't have the technology to shut it down. It was just blasted oil into the ocean endlessly.
Right.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Sagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.